And just to make it clear, I'm now one of those fans. I'm now one of those orbits that will do anything for this fucking group. And if I need to step up, and help this group in any way I can, I'm there. I'm fucking there. Guaranteed. 100%. Brit K-Pop Reacts is in orbit, and he's here to stay. Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel, Brit K-Pop Reacts, and today it is LOONA, once again, Loonaverse, a journey, my little mini-series. We have moved past the MVs now, of course. If you are new here, hello. I have done all the MVs in order recently, and we've just finished up on that, so please check out that playlist if you're not already. I am now fully in orbit after completing that journey, and I absolutely loved every second of it. And now we're moving into different things. I did LOONA TV earlier this week, if you want to check that one out. And today we are doing an Inconstant Moon. Is it an Inconstant Moon? The Inconstant Moon? I can't remember one of the two. The Inconstant Moon by Mera. A History of LOONA. So yeah, I think it delves a lot into kind of the history, the difficulties they've had, and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued to check this out and to find out more about this group and their history and kind of the things they've gone through and stuff, because obviously coming into LOONA this late and becoming an orbit this late, I kind of missed all that. So this hopefully will be a really good way of going back and finding out about all that stuff. In terms of this video, it very will likely be a two-parter, I would have thought, so I'll probably stop it halfway through at a random point that feels reasonable enough, and then release this both in two parts. Both parts will be out on the same day, so if you're watching part one now, this part two should be out as well. I'll be releasing them both at the same time, so just to make you all aware of that. And of course, if you enjoyed this reaction, drop us a like, drop us a comment, and of course subscribe to my lovely self, join the Brit K-Pop Reacts family. That would be awesome. With that being said, guys, let's get straight into this. So this is The Inconstant Moon by Mera, A History of LOONA. Let's check it out.
A quick disclaimer before we get into it, this is not meant to be a guide to LOONA. Do not expect this to be a comprehensive introduction to the members or the music. Rather, it's a look at the history of the group and their place in the industry. Anyway, with that aside, I do not have all the facts. Not every single detail is here. I'm sure orbits have much more information stored away. Every statistic used is readily available information. This video is not intended to point fingers at certain groups nor start any fan wars. I ask that you leave your opinions about the members, your opinions about the fandom, and your opinions about any other groups mentioned here out of your consideration for the video.
Solid ref.
Swear not by the moon, the fickle moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circle orb.
This isn't LOONA, right?
Thy love prove likewise.
So this is a poem of some description. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I know that.
Our story starts in April of 2016 with Blockberry Creative, an entertainment company in South Korea and a subsidiary of Polaris Entertainment.
I'm aware of them.
Polaris, bowl of rice. I'm going with Polaris. Anyway, Blockberry is the youngest child of a very rich family, but for now, all you need to know is that they're shiny, new, and wealthy. So here's Blockberry, freshly minted with a big bank account and a blank slate. What do? In early October, just 6 months after being founded, Blockberry makes an announcement. Their first ever group is coming. 12 members, gorgeous visuals, crazy storytelling, fancy art things, and it's all coming in 18 months. The group members will be revealed one by one, each with a personalized solo song and a single album, all under the Korean name Idare Sonyo, or Girl of the Month. And if you take the first letter of each syllable, turn in a circle, and clap your hands 3 times, that spells LOONA. Now let's get into the goods.
Oh my God.
The first member released a movie with Heejin in October of 2016.
Yeah, it was.
Following Heejin, there's Hyunjin, Hassel, and Yojin. And reaching 5th member Vivi, who hasn't yet released her solo in March of 2017.
I like the fact that I know all this now.
These first few members form LOONA's...
It feels like watching the Avengers video again and going through that and going, oh, okay, so this is the story, these are the members. Now it's like, yeah, I know all this. Move on. It's quite a nice feeling, you know, just to know all that, know the members.
First subunit, LOONA 1/3. Except Yojin, she's too short. Just kidding. It's because she's too young, and also maybe because she's failing school. 1/3 has an airbrushed girly theme, and their music is centered around real-life struggles like love and girlhood and being a cyborg. 1/3 puts out their debut in March to play the early market, but sandwiched between G-Friend and the debut of Pristin, the album doesn't pass the 3,000 sales mark. One Third releases a repackage in April, but that sells even fewer copies. In the midst of all this, Vivi has her solo debut in April, which sells more copies than both the One Third albums combined. So far, the solo debuts are LOONA's biggest moneymakers. Moving along, we hit the summer releases.
Which is surprising, really, because you think the combo ones, when they come together, you think they do really well.
Sixth member Kim Lip debuts in late May and marks a change in LOONA's visual and auditory dynamic. She's followed by Jinsol in June and Cherry in July. These three members form the second LOONA subunit, Odd Eye Circle. Their concept is much more mysterious, and their music takes influence from the Western mainstream. They release an album in September, Mix and Match, and while it doesn't chart as highly as One Third's debut, it actually sells better, finally crossing the 3,000 sales mark after the first month. Odd Eye Circle releases a repackage album in October, which does even better, dodging behind twice and claiming the final selling spot of the month. Now, something important happens just before Odd Eye Circle releases their album, Mix 9.
I've heard of them.
And boy, do I wish that Dreamcatcher had been the final time we'd have to talk about Mix 9. Nope! LOONA also makes a pit stop at Mix 9. YG calls the LOONA project unappealing, but Heejin and Hyunjin pass auditions, and this is when things get interesting.
Wait, is Mix 9... I say I've heard of them. Mix 9 is it a show? I think Mix 9 is a show. I've heard the name. I was thinking initially, oh yeah, it's a group, but no, it's a show, isn't it, I think. I do remember that name cropping up now and again. And I do remember someone mentioning about it, Heejin and Hyunjin being on it.
It's just scraped up a decent amount of attention for LOONA while competing on Mix 9. Heejin in particular amasses significant popularity.
Not surprised. I'm absolutely not surprised. Oh my god. Okay, I need to check that out. I need to check that out. Heejin doing Ariana Grande.
Putting her in the final lineup for the girls' team.
Oh.
At the end of the day, the boys' team is declared the winners, but it ends up not mattering either way. Cue the Carmen.
Oh shit. Oh dear. That ended badly. Christ. Imagine going through like all of that to then just not even debut that.
The final group's debut was cancelled by YG, and their stock pretty much plummeted.
The thing is, like, you would kind of assume as well going into something like that. Like, imagine if you were one of those trainees or whatever going into a show like that, and you got all the way through, you got into the final group and everything, the excitement and everything. You kind of naturally assume that, you know, the people behind the scenes have got this. That like at that point, yes, you are set for like superstardom or at least like a level of it. So like to go through all that and then to be like, oh no, you're not even debuting. That's can you imagine that? That must be awful because that's the last thing you think in the middle of the show is like, oh, what if what if the company fucks it and we don't even end up debuting because of it? Like, it's the last thing on your mind, wouldn't it?
The girls returned to Blackberry without a winning title, but it's more a success than a loss. The girls were able to return to an actively promoting project, and the show had brought curious attention to LOONA. There's a lot more details in there, but that's kind of the gist of it. The debut train keeps rolling. In November, the next batch of LOONA members come tumbling out of the oven. Ninth member Eve debuts, followed by Chu in December and Go On in January of 2018. There's a couple fan activities here and there, as well as Blackberry releasing a video for a day that doesn't exist, but finally, on March 30th, the final members revealed. Olivia Hay debuts with her song
Inconstant,
and we see the two bookend members of
my number one LOONA solo song.
The final four members form the last.
And yes, I do have a countdown.
YY by Y. YY by Y plans to release in late May, which kind of puts the fear of God in some fans, as Idol debuts at the very beginning of the month, followed by comebacks from BTS and Kristen. But it seems Blackberry are finally learning to play the market, because YY by Y drops just at the end of May, and in the midst of the heavy-hitting badass contest, YY by Y is an electropop sound with a bright concept. While there is no repackage, the album, Beauty and the Beat,
and it had Grimes on it, don't forget that bit.
4 subunit albums combined. And it doesn't stop there. With all 12 Pokemon finally collected, LOONA releases a full group debut song, Favorite, just before they're set to officially debut. 2 days before debut, LOONA holds Loonaverse, a debut concert in Seoul for an audience of 3,000,
is there any,
where the members perform all 12 solo songs from each...
Are there clips and things of that, like... Because I know people have mentioned, like, oh yeah, watch the, Egoist solo stage or whatever, those sort of things. Is that what that's from? That concert? I don't know if there's any like actual visual of it that I can potentially react to. Because that would be fun.
Group songs, including their debut single, August 20th, 2018. 30 music videos all over the world, nearly 2 years worth of work, but
Yep.
it's finally done. After
Hi.
1 year, 10 months, and 17 days, all 12 girls together at last. LOONA officially debuts on August 20th, 2018 with their
Yeah, they did.
Hi Hi.
Fucking love it. Oh, Loona. Oh, Loona.
Hi Hi is a more domestic-based color pop concept featuring cheer skirts, bright colors, powerful vocals from the members.
Chew.
The video eats over 1 million views per day,
I know.
and the album sells almost 53,000 copies by the end of the year, making it the second highest selling album for a girl group debut that year. The album peaks at number 2 on the Gaon chart, and the girls promote the song on music shows for 7 weeks. It seems the 2-year-long project may have bought LOONA a ticket to immediate success. Only the next comeback can tell. A month goes by. Nothing new, but hey, just had their debut, right?
Oh,
Then
no.
2.
Oh, no.
Then 3. Then 4.
Oh, boy.
Suddenly, it's December and no sign of LOONA. And then the year is over. No sign of LOONA. After getting content...
I'm glad I didn't have to go through this. Like, in hindsight, the fact that obviously I'm getting into them now and I've become an orbit now. You know, they've already got the first win. They're kind of in the sort of the best place they've ever been, really. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to go through this bit because this would have stressed me out.
Practically on a monthly basis for nearly 2 years, it feels a bit strange to not be hearing from them for so long. In fact, this particular hiatus lasts exactly half a year, and to say fans get antsy is an understatement. Finally, in February, a teaser hits, confirming the upcoming comeback, Butterfly.
I mean, the wait was worth it for that.
Celebration.
That song.
After 6 months of waiting,
That MV.
LOONA has a comeback.
Oh, yes, yes. Never, ever, ever gonna get bored of that song. Never.
Butterfly is the lead single of their repackaged debut.
Every time I hear that song, it feels like the first time I've heard it. Legit. Like, when that chorus hits, I can't control myself. It doesn't matter how many times.
Album, Multiply Multiply. The comeback is a reverse from the bright pop of Hi Hi, this time aiming at a different part of the mainstream, incorporating trendy bass and synth, powerful dancing, and the ever-popular beat drop. The concept explores a different side of femininity, and the comeback is widely celebrated in the fandom. The song hits strongest in the international market, charting at 6 on Billboard's World Digital Songs. Finally, it looks like LOONA has a shot at a first win.
But they don't
the
get
group
it.
promotes the comeback for 6 weeks, and the fan base sees expansion into the domestic market as well as the international. Butterfly, however, doesn't lead to the first win fans think it will.
So what beat it?
Things take a turn for the worse. Despite all the hype...
Well, I bet this is where the whole, because the whole not being as big in Korea thing comes in, isn't it? Because they're a lot bigger internationally. I mean, I assume they've got more recognition in Korea now compared to what they had. But I'm assuming this is where that comes in, because I don't understand how you can listen to that song and watch that MV and not fall in love with it. I can't fathom it. Fucking hell, if any song deserves an automatic win.
The repackaged album doesn't sell anywhere near their first, and once it drops off the charts, the era is basically over. This marks a trend in the beginning schism between the international popularity LOONA is experiencing within their own fandom and the actual domestic results of their success. But it's still a new year. There's always next comeback, right? Blackberry releases a few teasers hinting at a potential summer comeback, and then
it doesn't
radio silence. Complete and utter vacancy. Right as it seemed a comeback was about to be born, nothing comes out of Blackberry. The months begin passing by.
This is stressing me out. I know how it ends, and this is still stressing me out.
The revenue, and no sign of LOONA.
Jesus.
Summer ends, and fall begins. Boom. News turns up in the fall. LOONA's seemingly endless well of funds has run dry, and Blackberry Creative is in debt. Everything goes to hell in a handbasket. The news sparks disbandment rumors, and fear takes everything from there.
I'm going to say it again. I'm very, very glad I wasn't a LOONA stan at this point. Jesus Christ. It's fine looking back on it. Looking back on it, it still stresses me out just watching this video. Even though I know it's fine in the end. But if I had to go through that at the time, being a LOONA being in orbit. No, mate. Well, no, I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. It's kind of what I'm feeling now about Eyes One, because obviously I've got massively into Eyes One and the uncertainty surrounding them and whether they're gonna disband, whether, you know, all that jazz. It's kind of that sort of feeling. Just gives you that horrible feeling in your stomach. Like, yeah, I couldn't deal with that. Couldn't deal.
The fans trend hashtag Save Loona on Twitter,
Yes,
and a few
Save Loona.
GoFundMes are set up, but they go nowhere. The fan base goes crazy, BlackBerry drops dormant, and Loona falls completely silent.
I don't like it. I don't like
Moon's
it.
an errant thief, and her pale fire she snatches from the sun.
Chapter 2. Wait, where were we? See, we're only 10 minutes in. I can't end the part here. That seemed like a natural part to end the part 1, but I won't, because
What happened?
it's only 10 minutes.
Let's take a look at the exterior factors first. This is side 1 to our story. Let's take it back even before the beginning of BlackBerry Creative. It all begins with an arms trade company called Ilkwang Group.
Oh, I heard about it. Yeah, this is in the Avengers video. Like, they sell arms and shit. And at the time I was like, whoa, okay, sure.
Ilkwang Group is a wealthy South Korean corporation that manufactures training programs for the Korean military and primarily deals in the military arms trade. In 2006, Ilkwang gives birth to Polaris Entertainment. And that might seem strange, but it's not unusual for corporations to establish footholds in many industries. There's money to be made in the music industry, as well as a lot of influence. In 2016, Polaris gives birth to Ilkwang's grandchild, BlackBerry Creative. While the LOONA project was a creative way to bring in fans, it was also expensive. Extremely expensive.
Yeah, it's the Avengers video.
All in all, the pre-debut project cost nearly $9 million. BlackBerry belongs to Ilkwang, who is very wealthy, but even the beginnings of LOONA's project have notable strain. Plans for LOONA are in action as early as 2014, with songs, designs, and promotions already prepared, before BlackBerry even exists. And that content that will eventually become LOONA is stored up in Polaris. In all likelihood, LOONA may have actually originally been a Polaris group. And then... In March of 2015, an ongoing investigation into the Korean arms industry reveals a trail of corruption leading back to Ilkwang.
In some ways, I'm not surprised.
The South Korean government raids the office, and the CEO of Ilkwang is arrested for fraud and temporarily puts the whole company, Polaris included.
What is it about these bigwigs being, like, corrupt? Like, what? They always are. I've just been talking about Eyes One, like the whole, you know, vote rigging thing and all that. All goes back to the people higher up in the chain, just like taking advantage of power and whatnot, and just essentially being dicks. It always comes back to that, doesn't it? At the end, like bigwigs trying to get money in any way possible. Bloody hell.
He's also accused of sexual predation, but we're not going to get into that this time. After things start to thaw out, Ilkwang tries to find themselves a new CEO, but the impact of the investigation is crippling. Both companies are hit hard in the wallet. After a year, they decide to establish a subsidiary, BlackBerry Creative, and all plans for the LOONA project are rehoused over there. Either BlackBerry is a planned subsidiary now bruised from the events of 2015, or BlackBerry pops up in a desperate bid to continue the new project without having Polaris's name stapled to it. Either way, there's less money in the game than originally planned, and the project bites off more than it can chew.
Oh, no.
After one-third's albums sell low, BlackBerry scales back the expenses for the next batch of debuts. No more overseas photo shoots, no more overly elaborate sets. Right around
but actually it's noticeable, isn't it?
Through another series of changes.
When you think about Kim Lip's, especially Kim Lip, when going into Kim Lip's MV, it is very simple. It's just like they've got a set, they've got Kim Lip on a little plinth dancing. It's basically the entire MV. So actually you can see it, that it's obviously, they've scaled it down a lot.
During the first half of the project, BlackBerry's main distributor is Stone Music, but after Jinsoul's debut, they switch over to Vlending. This switch shows an improvement in album sales, but causes company confusion and budget strain, messing with the project's timeline. When LOONA debuts in 2018, the album does well, but not nearly well enough to pay off the insane debut cost. After Hi Hi, BlackBerry switches their distribution yet again, this time to Kakao M. And we've talked about Kakao M before, but they seem particularly disliked by parts of the fandom due to a lot of preventable mistakes during Butterfly's promotions, including but not limited to the album being unavailable for purchase on iTunes, listed under the wrong name on Spotify, and physically unviable due to a massive printing shortage. It's important to point out, Kakao is not solely
Get your shit
responsible for
together.
the album shortage.
Kakao
Prints can be done by separate third-party companies, but
this.
regardless, something goes majorly wrong in the planning process and albums run out. LOONA albums become notorious.
It's so disappointing, like, when you've got a song like that as well, when you've got a legit banger like that, you know, and things go wrong with the distribution and the availability and stuff, and it affects it to that degree. It's such a shame. And like I say, you know, the girls are ultimately suffering because of it, and it's such a shame because they deserve more. LOONA albums become notoriously hard to purchase. Is that why whenever I look for LOONA albums online, they tend to be quite expensive? A lot of them. Is that why?
Notoriously hard to purchase, and alongside all these other mistakes, problems arise with Mnet distribution and Billboard presence dips. Out on the promotional stage, LOONA doesn't take home a win, so chances of new sponsors are slim to none. And here's where it gets serious. At this point, Polaris and BlackBerry have borrowed a lot from various patrons around the industry, and many of them want their money back.
Oh dear.
One of their largest debts goes to Japanese IT company Donuts, and I'm not making that up, their name literally is Donuts. Polaris borrowed 400 million won from Donuts in 2017, and only returned about 40 million of it.
Oh dear.
Donuts also invested 3.5 billion won into LOONA in exchange for Polaris to schedule appearances from all members on Donuts' broadcasting app for a live streaming event. In reality, only one member shows up. So Donuts files a lawsuit against Polaris to return the investment, and another under criminal charges for making off with the money.
Oh.
Failing to pay off debts or uphold contracts, Polaris is hit with 2 massive lawsuits, and the court orders them to pay back the remaining 360 million won. The money runs out, BlackBerry is put on ice, and the LOONA project goes back underground.
No, no, no. Makes me sad and I don't like it.
It is the very error of the moon.
Right, is this a new chapter?
She comes more nearer Earth than she was wont, and makes men mad.
Right, this is a new chapter, chapter 3. I'm going to stop it there. We're going to stop the first part there, because it seems like a natural stopping point, and we are about halfway through the video. So I'll stop this part there. Just do a quick outro and just say part 2, as I say, is out today. It will be out on the same day, so I'm just going to literally, in terms of recording, I'm literally just going to press play on it now. To be honest, I'm just going to record this and go straight into it. So please check out part 2. This has been the Inconstant Moon, A History of LOONA Part 1. I'll see you in part 2.